Greetings everybody, Amar here, and I'm doing a test of the 10 game group count. So I'm going to go to Texas. So if I hit T again, and there's Texas down here, hit enter, and we'll look at the drawing sense hit chart really quick, make sure everything is current and up to date. 120 was the last drawing. The numbers drawn were here 6, 12, 18, 30, 34. So I hit the right arrow key, it goes to the right, left arrow key goes to the left. So it's happened to be 5 evens, which was unusual. The last time that happened was 40 drawings ago. So let's go back to the main menu, go back into 10 game group count, which is E. So we hit E, and this is broken up into decades. So the default is by decades, 1 through 9, which would be the units, 10 to 19 the teens, 20s, 30s. So I'm gonna change the groups to I'm gonna change from decades to groups. You know, you have to define your groups. Generally, I put my groups by default. I try to divide them evenly. So for instance, a 5 of 39, I would have 3 groups of 13, 13, 13, 13. But you can change the group to anything that you want. But then you have to be aware of the average number of hits if you change the group size. So I'll get into that later to try to explain that. Actually, I can show here. If we go to the bar charts right now, if we go to, I think, what is it, function F5. Okay, it tells you here. In this group 1 through 9, the average is 12.8 per 10 games. So the average is 12.8 hits per 10 games. So you see when it goes up like this, you're supposed to look for it to not hit. So like for instance here, where this large bar is, if you follow it down here, it was 3, and then you had 2 no scores for this particular, for the unit's decade, right? So this is pretty high. So if you go back in time, and I'll leave the mouse there. If you go back in time, you can see the last time that occurred. It's actually never occurred before. So, but that's what you look, when it gets really high, you look for a number not to score. And when it gets really low down here, you look for it to start scoring. So here it was 2. You had 2 numbers come in, 2 numbers come in, 1 number came in. You didn't have something big until here, 3. So it was pretty consistent. The only time you had a big one was here with 5. But you can see here when you go down low, right? Well, when it gets really low here, what you have to be aware of is you can see the flag formation down here, right? If you consider this a hit, this dash is a hit where no numbers are scoring, you can see the flag. So no numbers, no numbers, skip of 1, no numbers, skip of 3, no numbers, skip of 1, no numbers, skip of 5. There's your flag. There's your 1, 5. No numbers, here's your 2. Skip of 2, and then 0, 0. So when 5, 2, 0, 0. So that's a downstroke here. So I would be looking for no numbers to score here in the unit. So you can see here there's a flag of no number scoring. Now that's hard to visualize. Now I can visualize it because I've done it in Excel so much that I can retroactively apply it to Advantage Plus, right? But so this is so you can use the 10 game group count in 2 ways. You look at it for numbers scoring, where you have here, you're up here, right, where you get high, and then you look for no numbers to score over here, or you have no numbers, like no numbers here, and it's low, and then you start looking for numbers to score. You see, what the thing is, you see, you can look for numbers to score, but it only occurred in 3 drawers before you had no numbers scoring again. That's because it was a flag. But then you can see here, so no number scoring is in a flag here, and you can tell that by the dashes. And then here you have, this is, I'm going to approximate it. I'm not going to count it. Let's say it's 12. Well, let's say it's 13. Do a Fibonacci number. It's 12, 13 approximately. And then, so that's a dormant period for no number scoring. So I'll have to illustrate that in Excel. But this is using decades, right? The decades, units, 20s, 30s, 40s. Well, not there's no 40s, sorry. But if you're doing like Mega Millions, you go 40s, 50s, 60s, right? By decades. So I make that distinction between decades and groups because decades are simple to determine because they're generally a grouping of 10. Now, I do teens, 20s, 30s, but you could do, you know, well, there's different ways to do it, all right? But you don't want to, you don't want to overthink it too much. So I'm going to change the groups. So let me see. I go back to escape to the menu, and then um, groups. I think this is how you change the group. So function F4. Okay, change number groups, change game groupings. I'm not sure what game groupings is right now, but change number groups. All right, so it's gonna end at 12. What happened? Oh, I used the numeric keypad. It doesn't register, so I got to use the numbers on the top. So it ends at 12. The second one ends at 24. 12, 24, 36, and then since you don't have 36, this will end at 35, and then, what do I do, hit enter? Yeah, I guess I hit enter, and then you, F6, so you do function F6, I gotta use my other hand. I got two computers going, one is on my lap, and one is on the chair, so I gotta use, my hand can't reach function and F6. Okay, so now we've changed from decades to groups. Now you can do groups of, five, like 1 through 5, and then like that. But you have to consider the average amount of hits per that group. But that changes automatically by default when you change this. You change the groupings. So now when you go to the bar charts, function F5. Okay, so now you can see here. See the average changes now. And this is the average hits, 17.3 per 10 games. So you can see how it got all the way high up here. So when you get really high, you want to look for no number scoring. All right. So what's happening here? The numbers are still hitting. So this is an exhaustion break for no numbers hitting. And you can see there's a flag over here. And it's not a flag, it's not a classic flag, as she says 2.5 in the book. I call it an intermediate flag, and I'm going to have to look at my Excel chart on the other computer as a reference. So when I call it an intermediate flag, it means that it has these non-flag skips. Now when I say flag formation, I'm talking about skip 5. And in the book, Lottery Master Guide, she says that you can extend to skip 6. But in my book, or the way I interpret it, is that a flag formation skip is going to be plus or minus 1 off of the 5. So plus 1 from the 5 is 6, minus 1 from the 5 is 4. And that's why I color all of my, I conditionally format 4, 5, and 6 as hot pink. And the reason why it's pink and it's hot pink because I could remember that it's hot. It's hot pink, it's hot. I've tried red hot, you could do white hot, but I do the pink because it stands out and so I don't overlook it. So that's why I do it that way. So this is, again, so here you would start looking for no scores. And you can see it's coming down, and eventually you're going to have a couple of no scorings. The problem is that you're in exhaustion. So I'm not going to count this, but from what I have on my other computer, it's 35. 30, well, no, that was 35. That was well, no, that was one drawing ago because there's no drawing on Sunday on the 19th. So one drawing ago. So it's at 36. So I like 36 because I call it a sidereal number, right? Because if you're using a clock, 36 degrees, 360 degrees, 36, 12, 24, 36. So I use that as a guide. However, if I look at the all-time, all right, I got to get the other mouse. if I look at the all-time, so this is going to be part one. So hopefully you can retain the information here, and I'll compare, maybe I'll take a snipping of this, and I'll compare this data with the data that I have on a drawing sense hit chart. Because this technically is a drawing sense hit chart, right? If you put a little X here, or a number sign, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 7. And then you put a little X here, or a little box, or a 0 that I put in my Excel, or you would put a number sign. Then you count 1, 2, and then you put another number sign here, or an X. Because this is like a 4A, right? This is like a drawing sense hit chart. It can be interpreted as a drawing sense hit chart. Obviously, it doesn't look like it, but you could translate it into a 4A, this data here, which I've done in Excel. So anyway, okay, so this is 35, this is 30, this is 36. Now if I look at, and this is for group 1 through 12, right? So I call this the first group, and this would be blue. According to the big, this would be blue, yellow would be 2, and green would be 3. So let me look and see. For group 1, the maximum skip ever is right now 36. Previously it was 30. So I'm starting to look for it to not come in. However, this is an exhaustion, right? And you don't know when it's going to stop. So it's dangerous, because if you start chasing it, you might start exhausting your wallet. So this is a very, very difficult decision to make here, as far as numbers not coming in this particular group, because it's in an exhaustion break. The flag is towards numbers hitting in multiples. So here, like 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 5. The trend is for hits to be occurring. So if you look at this is all right, this is the opposite flag, the flag for numbers hitting. If you look at here, I usually do greater than 2 numbers, and that's because 3 pays out, right? So I want to hit 3 or more, so I look for that. I don't count the 2, but you could look, numbers hitting at all, like 1 or 2. But let me just try to simplify it. Okay, so 3 numbers hitting, so that would be an X if you're considering 4A. And then you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then another X. This is another X. That would be a 0 skip. And then 1, and then hit, hit, hit. So that means that if you were just wheeling 12 numbers in the first group, there's a flag here. So you could have hit money here, hit money here, you could have hit money here, and look over here. 5 numbers. You could have hit a jackpot just using this strategy, looking at just numbers in this particular group, because it's in a flag formation. It's a flag formation for hitting. It's an exhaustion break for not hitting. So these two things are occurring together. So right now, if you look at here, the last multiple hit for money was here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a flag. So you have a flag formation, skip 5 for just group 1, and then you have a sidereal exhaustion break at skip 36 for no numbers hitting. So you have to make a choice. You have to either say no numbers are going to hit, or numbers are going to hit. And that's the tricky part, because you can go either way, right? Or you can do both. But if you do both, now you're doubling your cost. So that's the danger, and I don't like to do both, because now you're playing twice as much and not being sure what's going to happen. You want to have an idea. You want to anticipate something, and you got to make a definitive choice if it's going to hit or it's not going to hit. Now, I'm not sure. Now, I mean, when I say you can do both, I'm saying you could do a wheel with just numbers through 1 to 12, and do a separate wheel doing numbers 13 and higher. Or you could do, let's say, one wheel doing both, and hope that you can catch it. I generally don't like to do that. Like, let's say, you play all the numbers, or you play 20 numbers with the low and the numbers with the high. But I generally don't like to do that, because again, I mean, you could catch a jackpot doing that, but I don't like to do that because it's showing that you're not sure what's happening. You're not making a choice. You're like saying, oh, okay, maybe this, maybe that. All right, so hopefully that's not too confusing. Let's look at the other group, and let me take off my timer. It's about to go off. I was only going to do a 15-minute video, so let me stop that. All right. Okay, because I'm actually, like, again, I am playing, so I got to make this choice, and I'm not sure. And I don't like to be not sure. I'll probably go for the flag, and I'll probably play shit. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do, because when I'm not sure, you really shouldn't play at all. You should step back. Now the thing is, the number 10. All right, if I go back to the number 10, I'm gonna go back to the chart 4 for a second. This number 10, I really like it because I like the hot skip after the intermediate. See, this is the intermediate, and that's why I call it the intermediate flag, because it's not classic. Classic means that the maximum skip in your flag formation or your nexus streak would be skip 5 or skip 6 if you go to the limit that she says in the book. Once this intermediate occurs, it's like the flag formation stretches out, and I look for a hot skip afterwards. So I played the 10 in yesterday's wheel, so I don't want to drop the 10. Right? That's a rule that I use generally for a power number. I'll play the hot skip after the intermediate, and then if it goes past the hot skip, I'll drop it. So since I played it yesterday, I don't want to drop it. And the other thing is this 12 hit, and I usually look for an adjacent like this. I look for like going like an inverted L. I go off of this. So I like that. And then off of this 6, when this repeats, I usually go over here, like the 4-5. So I'm not sure. So I'm probably going to go with the numbers hitting because, like I said, it's an exhaustion break, and you don't want to chase the exhaustion because you exhaust your wallet. So I think I made my decision. I'm going with 3+ numbers within group 1 through 12. And because I like this inverted L off of this repeat, because I used to hit a lot of, not a lot, but I used to hit money in New York using that pattern. Once you get a repeat, I look for the adjacent here. So you have the 5, and this is a flag here. The number 5 is in flag, and we can look at the abbreviated to verify that. So where's the 3 here? So you had an exhaustion here. You had 1 dormant period, 2 dormant periods. Here's your trend reversal for hitting. Okay, numbers hitting, and then you have 1, 2, 0, 0, 2, 8, and now it's 5. So this is a streak. The hot and hitting broke down here with the 8, but the 3 here is adjacent in the inverted L, and the L is like I don't know. I call it an inverted L only because somebody I was showing somebody my chart and they said it was an inverted L. I don't see it as an inverted L, but it makes sense. Kind of it's an inverted L, or it's an extended adjacent, because the 4 would be adjacent, but the 4 is 11. So then I would have to look for the symmetry on the 11. I mean, the symmetry on the skip 11 over here. And I got to get a better mouse. I mean, a better mouse pad here. So if I look at the symmetry, shit, why is this? Oh, I got hitting the wrong arrow. Sorry. Okay, so the 11, you got to look for the symmetry. So you have 14, 15, 18, 12. Symmetry here. And then that's it. There's no more symmetry with the 11. Here's a 12. And so there have been no skip 11s for the number 4. You can verify by looking at the skip chart, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to probably end this video before 30 minutes. It's because my computer, this computer is the older computer, and when it gets to 30 minutes, usually it farts out, and I lose the recording. So let me get back to the so I like the 3. So okay, so that's why I'm gonna play. Go back to the main menu. Go back to function E. All right, now we're gonna just look briefly at the second group. Whoops, shit, what did I do? Escape? No, fuck. Function E. Go down. Function F5. Bar charts. Hit down arrow. Look for the second group. So you can see here there's a flag formation for no numbers hitting. Here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our intermediate skip. The hot and hitting skip broke down. So the flag broke down. Now it's increasing. You're you're cascading out of the streak. So I got to go back to the other computer and see what's going on in the second group. Second group is, and this is why this is what she means when you cross-reference charts. And I gotta put this on the wall and print it out. I started printing yesterday. I printed out 2 pages. I had to print out 7 pages, and my printer ran out of ink, so I ordered off of Amazon, but I didn't do I don't have Prime anymore, and so the ink is not coming until Friday. So second group not showing is certainly possible because if you consider it an intermediate flag. Now, there's an intermediate flag over here in the third group, and that's over here. Here was your exhaustion break for no numbers hitting. Okay, this skip, according to my other computer, is skip 22. If you count these numbers, if you count from this no hit to this no hit, this should be 22. And then here's your intermediate skip. Here's another intermediate skip. So it looks like the third group will not come in, and that's because, like here, you see how you got low? Generally, when you get low like this, that means the numbers are going to start coming in. And so here they're coming in. When you get high here, because the average is 16, which is over here. So you're way over the average, and then that means that no numbers are going to start coming in. And it happened here. So you had to wait 1, 2, let's say this is 8 or 9. I don't want to count. So this was from here to here is 8 or 9. That's an intermediate skip. And then this was 5, and here's 1. So here's a 5-1 reverse flag, as opposed to the 1-5 forward flag, right? Or ascending flag. 1-5 going up, 5-1 is coming down. So this is a reverse flag, and this is an ascending flag. This is a downward flag, 5-1-1-1-1. Is that what happened? No, that's a 2. Is that a 2? Yeah. It's 1-1-1-2. And now we're at 8 again. So this is an 8 and this is a 9. So the symmetry from the 8 to the 9 is there. So this is getting up. Also, it's past the average of 16. I'm going to look for no numbers to come in this group. So I'm going to play numbers. I'm going to play. So you're going to have 3 numbers, 3 or more numbers from this group. So if we're going to, all right, let's assume we have 3 numbers here and 2 numbers here. So if you do your wheel, you'll put 6 numbers here, 4 numbers here. Or 9 numbers here and 6 numbers here. So you know you're gonna, if it comes out 3-2-0, then that's the proportion. 3-6-9, 2-4-6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. So I'll probably do a 15 number wheel. I'm gonna leave out this third group because of this, and I'll take a snipping of these, and I'll do a second video to show you how I'm cross-referencing what's coming in the bar charts versus what I have in Excel. Now, one thing that's annoying, and I sent an email to Joe, and I said, Joe, can we put the bar charts into Advantage Gold? And he hasn't done it. He didn't even answer the last 2 emails I sent him. So I'm gonna have to call him on the phone sometime, maybe this week or next week, once I get all my thoughts straight, because this is actually the chart that Gail Howard advertises in the Lottery Master Guide. And if you remember the sales pitch that Joe sent out a while back, he said that, oh, the charts are exactly the same in both programs, but they're not. There's different. You want to add charts. You don't want to subtract charts, right? You want to subtract new charts that help and not give away the old charts that actually help. Now I like this one, this chart. This one, like, okay, so here you would look for, at this low point, you would look for numbers to start coming in. So you would start playing, and that's what happened. The numbers started hitting 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. You had a 4 over here, so that was good. And this is an exhaustion for no number scoring. Now I'm looking at the second group, and it was only, I think. All right, hold on. I went back in time, so I'm not sure where that is. But no, this is the third group. So this exhaustion here is it 20? No. Yeah, it's 22. This is 22, because this looks like an exhaustion, but it's not. This is a skip 9. So I wouldn't count this as a dormant period. And so this is your streak. So here's your exhaustion. This was one dormant period. So if you go back here, if you go back further, here's your flag of no numbers hitting. And here's your previous exhaustion. And this is, I think this is, oh, I don't have it on this chart because I only have I only have 90 drawings. So I don't want to go keep on looking because we're at 25 minutes and I don't want to lose this recording. So basically that's it for now. Again, questions, comments in the bottom, and I'll cross-reference this. This is another video. This is for the 10 game group count. The next video I'm going to do is I have to respond to Brandy. I didn't respond to her. I'm sorry. I was less than I was what was I doing? Anyway, I'll talk about that in the other video. So that's it. We're going live, and I'm going to make my wheel now in Excel. And questions, comments, subscribe, and that's it. I'll talk more in another video. All right, everybody. Good luck. Happy number hunting.